Monica is a culinary artist and a chef with Ph.D. in molecular biology. She has her master's degree from Basque Culinary Center. Since 2013, she has had various culinary experiences, from having her own artisanal bakery and ice cream line to working at some of the finest restaurants in the world. Monica uses science to develop her own signature cuisine. She's always been really inspired by seasonal, organic, and vegetarian produce. She really works to connect food making with anthropology, taste buds, habit, culture, sounds, visual arts, and spaces. Monica is searching for a gastronomy that goes beyond the palate. She is also the co founder of the artistic collective Elephants and Volcanoes. She's also a very proud mom and wants her daughter to grow up exploring the true sense of freedom, authenticity, inclusion, and change. Based now in Berlin, Monica is an advocate for circular economy, and in 2009, she founded Roots Radicals, a sustainable food company focused on food waste prevention, upcycling, and aiming to empower and reconnect people to good food. Hi, Monica. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Fair Thoughts today.
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you? Amazing. Do you want to just start off by telling all of our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Monica. I am Peruvian, actually, and I am living in Berlin since the past 3 years. I am a biologist, but also a chef, and I have a daughter as well. This is very important. And now I recently founded my new company here in Berlin. It's called Roots Radicals, and it's a bit of a fusion between the science and the cooking. And what we do is we have different lines of products with rescued fruits and vegetables, and we are doing circular economy. So that's a bit an introduction.
Great. So you grew up in Peru?
I did. I grew up in Peru until I was 19, and then I left for every summer until I was 21 just to study in different laboratories when I was studying biology. And then actually afterwards I went to Spain to do my Ph.D. and I lived in Spain for 7 years. Then I came to Berlin and I decided I want to do cooking. It's like a big journey. Back to Peru and then back to Berlin again.
Wow, that's a phenomenal journey. And when did you kind of find your love for food?
Well, I think it's been in me since all of my life. I think even, I believe that it just came with me, inherited in a way. So when I was little, I always used to get very excited to cook. I even have dated cookbooks that I did, like collecting recipes from, newspapers and everything, and just putting them in a book since I was already 8 years old. And normally I cooked every Saturday for my family. I loved it. I really loved it, but it was like somehow never associated with something that I wanted to study until much, much later, that I became very independent and started cooking for friends. And they actually planted the seeds of you have to do something with this,
Well, that's great. Well, I think that's a perfect segue for you to tell us a little bit about your new enterprise. Tell us about Root Radicals.
Yes. So Roots Radicals started simmering when I came back to Berlin in 2016, but my daughter was very, very little. So I was just thinking, okay, what do I want to do now? I have so many tools, and where do I want to go? And I think something very important about myself is also in my purpose, is the fact that I like to also empower people. And this is something very important about Roots Radicals. And I'll tell you why just in a minute. But I was trying to find out, okay, what do I want to do? Because I didn't really want to just have a restaurant. And I really also love, I had a very big encounter with bread, artisanry, and traditional fermentation. So I sort of found the spot in between. And of course, the big this very big phrase that stuck in me, that there was so much food waste, but at the same time there was so many people that were hungry at the same time and having problems with nutrition and food, like food security. So I was trying to fit it all, and in the middle of it, because I'm a biologist, I think, and I understand the cycle of life so well, and I've studied it, just made perfect sense to just try to upcycle and not waste. And so the idea started to be born there. And yeah, I just founded the company last year finally, and the name came with my brother in Lima for another, just thinking about projects. And the idea of Roots Radicals is that we're a sustainable food company, aiming to bring back the production kitchen to the center eventually. Now with the situation, we don't know when, but we want to have a visual kitchen open to people so that they can connect to process, because we believe that process is very disconnected on how things are being made regarding food. And that I think it's also one of the main problems why we can't empower ourselves into, finding again awareness of where things are coming. So I think it's like a vehicle of change. I think food has so many values that it can really have this spark to change us. And what we do is that we work with different suppliers in the food chain. So we work with some that work directly with what comes out of the farm before it goes to import, export, or supermarkets, that they just reject certain things because they're like not shaped properly, or have spotted skins or so forth. And we also work with suppliers at the supermarket level, and they provide us with different things, and we every week sort of change a bit our what we produce. So we have almost 30 products. I'm hoping that for now we stay with this amount, but we go through fruit preserves, pickles, hot sauces. Everything is canned, everything is sterilized. It comes in jars, all for the purpose that it's long lasting, that it's also preservation, and we focus a lot on culture and trying to find different ways of preserving that are inspired by human practices that come from ancient practices. So as I mentioned before, fermentation is something very big that we also have. So we have a lot of alive products. And incorporating to all of this, it's also the fact that in our kitchen, we cook circularly. So not only upcycling rescued, but also inside our kitchen, we try to upcycle every byproduct that we have into new fruit products. And of course, partnering with other circular thinkers and designers that maybe are using, for example, asparagus fibers or coffee grinds to make scrubs, such as I know you have, I think, one of coffee, or things like that, so that we can keep it moving, because of course, at a given point, we won't be able to use every single byproduct that we have for food, perhaps, no? So just as a last thing, as an example, we have, for example, a piccalilli, which is a summer relish that we do with cauliflower and corn and onions and cucumbers. And we use the cauliflower leaves to make kimchi. We use the onion scraps and skins to do onion salt. We use the corn cobs to make like lemonade. So we try to use everything else and upcycle it. In the future, when we have our coffee store, the idea is that we can also offer some of these things for people to immediately connect as well to easy things to do at home, to help them also lower their footprint of food waste at home, which is actually quite high. So I hope that wasn't so long.
Oh my gosh, that was phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing all of those things with us. And I think, you covered elements of circularity, but I think I want to go a little bit deeper. So how do you really incorporate circularity into your enterprise? So you're looking at all of the food waste that would otherwise be, tossed out. So rescuing, I love that you use the word rescuing.
maybe fruits and vegetables that aren't shaped perfectly, and then you use it into making something of your own. So what are some of those products you make, and can you tell us a little bit about the suppliers that you work with?
Sure. We have right now we are working with 2 suppliers, and so what happens basically in the food chain, we have 30%. No, 30%. I think is probably the percentage everyone relates to right now as food waste. No, food loss and food waste, depending on where you are, there's more of one or more of the other. In Germany or in Europe, it all starts, of course, in the fields. And the first process of selection is just, if you harvest potatoes and some of them are smaller than the size, or if you harvest lemons and for some reason your yellow lemons have green spots, or the skin has like some scars. Some tomatoes that I actually receive, and I am totally unaware of why is this thought not to be received. Maybe they are too mature and they won't survive the whole rest of the food chain until it arrives to the supermarkets or the homes. So there is a provider that I'm starting to work with, and it's called Querfeld. They are right now in Berlin, and probably and hopefully they grow bigger in Germany. But they're really, really good because they work directly with this first problem, no? So they send us actually a list every week with, okay, we have this week or next week this is coming, and it's very big quantities because it comes directly from field, so you can actually buy 20, 25, 50 kilos to produce a considerate amount of product. But it also has variety, and it's also a bit unpredictable. So this is one of the sort of challenges, I would say. I wouldn't call it a difficulty, but challenges in the circular model, no? Because we are not taking just one product and doing like a linear production. We are just looking at what there is and trying to use as much as we can, or as much as we receive, into making a variety of different delicious products, no? So Querfeld is great. More or less, it's like like the post-production of food where they work at, and then the food goes in the cars and it moves to industry has a lot of waste. Here we don't work yet, but it's like my future idea to maybe do some consultancies, for example, like see if there's an industry that has a lot of byproduct and that we can help them find a way of making new products with it. In any case, I think it's a good niche for someone else to also help out there. And then from the industry, we go to all the places where consumers act, no? So restaurants, caterings, supermarkets, small markets. And here we work with another provider that works with the different big supermarkets that also have like plenty of food waste. And this is different than the one I told you before. For here, for example, it's we don't work with dairy, but I'll give you some examples with dairy. It's milk that maybe has its best before in 2 days or 3 days. And people don't want to buy that anymore because they do their weekly buy and they don't want to buy it. So that milk, like thousands of liters of milk, no, goes to waste. And like that, I've also heard that some of the problems they have is just deliveries. So people make their delivery, the food goes to their homes, but they're not there when the delivery guy arrives. And so it goes back and it just doesn't go back in. It just stays out because it takes more effort and money to put it back in and to count it than to waste it, which is, we all know there's so many irregularities and things that don't make sense with this. So this partner, I just send them. For them, it's different because they really don't, it's much less, they don't really know what they're going to get. But I've already like sort of worked with them a few times. So I sort of know, okay, there's this one. The other day I tried to order a big one with them and it didn't work, So that's another of the challenges, to know, okay, how much and what am I going to get? And sometimes I aim to produce more and I can produce less, or sometimes I get more of something and I have to change a bit my model. But I love that because I'm very creative and I love to have, different recipes and so forth. So with them, it just works like that. I make an order and I put, if you don't find this, then this, or I put a maximum of amount and I vary it. And the last place where the let's say the food chain arrives is to the homes. I don't work with people's homes, but this is where we really want to work in the education part of Roots Radical. So we really want to have workshops and focus in helping people learning about upcycling and what can they really do with their scraps. Is do it yourself. And I think now is a really good time. Somehow everyone is like gaining a lot of awareness with this because they're also cooking much more. And what I mentioned before, no, the empowering. I think it's very, very important to empower people so that they can go back and start to sort of not impose, but through their empowerment and awareness, start to say to the supermarket, okay, I don't want this anymore. I want this, or like how sometimes you buy bio and it comes in plastic. And how, if they don't want bio or they want more of this and so forth. So more or less, that's like the chain. And then in circular ways in Roots Radicals inside of us. So we receive the product. And right now we're very careful in monitoring everything. So just so that we can also be very aware of the impact. When we get everything, we weigh it down. We see what that we get is in good condition or not, to see that, it really is not food waste. And this actually happens. Like sometimes, from 20 kilos of tomatoes, there is a couple that is moldy, but normally everything is in perfect condition. And then as we start to process the food, once we have something that we don't know what to do with it at the moment, but we write it down, we weigh it, we see how much we could become of this byproduct, and then think about, okay, doing some research and development and thinking, what can we design in a way, what new product can we make from this? So you were asking me also to mention some of our products, like I mentioned before, the picalilli. We also in winter made, for example, a lot of sauerkraut. We did like 20 kilos. And our sauerkraut recipe has also grated apple. And then all the apple peels, all the apple cores, everything goes into becoming vinegar, for example. And this is like a fermented product, so we don't sterilize it anymore. We sell it also like a probiotic drink and a vinegar that you can use in your daily food, but that has this very also nutritional elements, no, that we really also like to talk about. We also do, for example, baked garlic that we use in our products and that we want to have as a product. All of our products are meant for home, are enhancers, like we have bouillons that we make with vegetables. And this one is a variety of seasonal vegetables that we get. And we make it so that you can have a concentrated bouillon. So it's like a paste that 1 spoon dilutes into 1 liter, and then you have instant soup. You can use it as well for sauteing vegetables, enhancing any other meal. Our garlic is the same. And with the garlic peels that are also super, super nutritional, we dehydrate them and we do a baked garlic salt, which is super delicious. We make ketchup. With our tomato peels, we do tomato powder. So we have like a really, really big line of upcycled spices for everything that is the peel or something that we're used to thinking it's not so nice for us to have. Like tomatoes, we're always peeling them, but the peel is so full of flavor and also, of course, nutrition. So that's a bit how it works inside of our cooking, no? Our labeling, of course, is glass. We try to inform a lot through our labels. We're like still working on that and still trying to find on like the exact regulations and what needs to be there, what not. printing, and sustainable. So every single decision we wanted to be sustainable, but of course everything takes time, which is to me a lot of fun regarding circularity, like even the stickers, the labels, the transport, the kitchen that you rent. Eventually, analyze also, okay, how much are we using of the electricity? We haven't gotten there, of course, and so forth. But and to me, one of the most important things of circularity is also community, so like community building with the people, like I told you before, like empowering and helping people and building community. But I think also with the people that are, like you, like me, like the people that we're meeting that are working towards this change and leaving the linear behind, because I feel there's like this energy of wanting to do things differently. And there are so many things in circularity that require collaboration. So that's a big one too, to network, to meet people, and to see ways of collaborating. So that's I hope I answered your question.
That's no, everything you make sounds delicious. The baked garlic and the way you use kind of apple and the ciders and the vinaigrettes, and the kimchi. I mean, all of that sounds really delicious. And I also just really, really love the way you're looking at everything so holistically, whether it's through partnerships or through circularity, or the way you're packaging your products, or how you're communicating and really spreading awareness and through workshops. And I mean, I really love your big picture vision. I think you're off to an amazing start. Can you tell us a little bit about who are your customers at this time? How do you deliver? A little bit about that right now.
Yes. So we had a setup plan for customers and delivering and building community. We actually started selling. So we founded Roots Radicals in June last year, but we started more or less in September producing. December we launched for the first time, and we did it through markets because it's like a great way to meet people. They come from all the different neighborhoods in Berlin. They can see what you're doing. They ask questions. So that was like our idea for this year, to start growing through markets until we find our own space, in the middle of everything, of course, building our business model, getting the financing, and so forth. But everything changed. So now what we're doing is we have a delivery service that is through a newsletter. And for that, it's me and another girl in the team that is delivering together, and we do a once-a-week delivery. And then there is a couple of stores that are already taking in our product in different markets. Stores that are also having like brands that are in the same world, or like, of course, that we communicate with sustainability and all of these things. I've already talked to Surplus, which is a really amazing supermarket here in Berlin that works with rescued fruits. Like everything that they sell is actually rescued, and hopefully it works to be with them soon. So our sales are right now, like at the moment going to burst. We're waiting also into having some, because all of these products, of course, once you go big, you need to be sure that you have all the security. We have, of course, in our kitchen a lot of security steps, but we've sent a couple of products also to analysis, and we're waiting for that so that the products can also move. We just took photos yesterday. I just had like an interview with a girl for social media to help us a little bit with community building since now, and the workshop. So everything is like, simmering to start. But hopefully also we've gotten emails from a really cool delivery services that are now building up since COVID, which are delivery services for artisan producers in all of Berlin. Like everything is going into a little bit of a higher sustainable conversation, which is great. And everyone is very open to Roots Radicals. So I feel it's fitting also very well, no?
I think that sounds like a really exciting time that you're at. And I love
Yes.
that it's a collective for artisan products to be delivered within Berlin. That's really cool.
See, they're called Market. I'm actually having a phone call with them next week. And it's super cool because up until now, I think we're always used to having deliveries without thinking of packaging. Like there was, of course, growing awareness about, deliveries are full of this, unsustainable packaging and so forth. But it's just like the normal restaurant that always has the option to deliver. And now people are building deliveries thinking that this is the model. So everyone is focusing on having, even plated, restaurants are plating their plates in the thing, and now it's also about, okay, let's just have more delivery services that are focused in the local, in the regional, in the sustainable, and sort of curating their own brands. And so people can really decide, okay, I want to opt for this one and not for this one that mainly perhaps, just it's like a massive big one, which sometimes, I mean, we all use sometimes the big ones, but sometimes you also want to just like curately look at, different options that you have. So that's like, I am very excited about that one. Yes.
Great. During this time, you've mentioned a lot about COVID. Do you think people are becoming a little bit more intimate with their food because they're perhaps cooking more, spending more time at home? Any thoughts on food and COVID and any reflections around that?
See, I mean, it's inevitable to talk about COVID, I think, because it's like everywhere. Definitely. I mean, one of the first, I remember clearly the first weeks that all of this was happening, I got a lot of cancellations for caterings. And we were also starting to do some, like circular caterings with awareness linked to it, and letting the people of the event know their impact, how much they had saved, and so forth. And I got cancellations, and I got a cancellation where I had like all the produce in my kitchen, no, already got. So I had to think about what to do with it, and then I realized suddenly, that food will not go anywhere, like it will just change in a way, so it's not like because of COVID we're going to stop eating, and because of COVID we're actually going to start cooking more at home, right? So I did totally realize that it was becoming so important to nourish ourselves, especially because it's a virus. So the first thing is keeping ourselves healthy just because of that. Secondly, because emotionally, if you're not healthy in your body, it's so much harder to keep focus of all these confusing times, especially at the beginning. I think, well, everyone is living it differently, right? Like Berlin, it's sort of like going away in a way, but I know like in Peru, where I come from, everyone is still locked in, and it's very, very difficult. So I actually started like to get very active on recipes and home cooking, and all of the restaurants that I've seen, they also changed it a lot. I found that Roots Radicals, which was, um, sort of matching the moment, like our products are good for you to have at your home. So I think in that regard, I just really focused in starting this delivery that I told you before. And I was like, okay, it's not about necessarily, selling my products and making money in this time, because clearly, to me at least, that wasn't the focus, and I don't think it was the way of going through it. It was just, okay, these products can really, nourish you as well, and give you what you're looking for in your house, like nutrition, good food, recipes. I started to do bread workshops. I started to get a lot of sort of bread students asking me about sourdough and how to do this and that. I did cooking classes with kids, with my daughter, um, with with friends as well. We do once every 2 weeks or once a week, and we rotate. So I was the first one to start, and I said, okay, I'll do this Peruvian stew, and everything easy, right? Like not thinking about doing difficult stuff, but like nourishing, easy, homey. And then we're 6 friends and we take turns. So the next week is someone else and so forth. And we prepare the same thing. It's like a small cooking class, and then we eat together and we eat the same thing. So it's like a virtual dinner.
That's
I've done that with my brother as well. So yeah, I mean, it's been like, it's always in my body, you know, to cook, to nurture. I think it's because I'm a woman, because I'm a mother, because I've always had food, like one of your first questions, no? Like, I think it's like so inside of me that with my hands and with my, you know, like it's my heart extends to my hands and extends to my food, right? And it goes the same way with Roots Radicals in a way, you know? So, but definitely there's a lot of love there. And I think during these specific COVID times, it was, and it is still a lot needed, no? To eat well, to find nurture in food, and to receive food that it has that love, because some people don't know how to cook either if they're trying to learn. So they're probably also doing deliveries, and to find deliveries that have a little bit more of that care in it, I think it's important. And we're definitely seeing that, no?
So, Monica, just before I let you leave, one last question. What is that one piece of advice you'd like to give other environmental entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs who want to, get into the space?
Okay, so I think to me is, and this has been internal sort of thing with me, and this is why I'm going to give this advice. It's just don't worry so much about success, or, you know, like having it be perfect and having it be successful. I think right now when we go into doing entrepreneurship, especially regarding sustainability and circularity, we have to be bold, we have to risk, we don't have to care so much about, you know, like that point of profit that will come, you know. And also because things are moving at the same time that we're moving, but we just have to give it a try. So what I would say is just like go for it. And also because I think success interferes a bit with ego, and, you know, we're on a mission here, and our mission is not the ego, it's just the empowerment of the people, and our purpose is to just help bring the world to a better place, I think, you know, through our many actions that we have. So any ideas that you feel you have and they're like deeply inside of you with, you know, this intuitive power and energy, that will move you further than anything else. So just go for it.
That's excellent advice. Just go for it. Awesome, Monica. Thank you so much for spending time chatting with me. I've really learned a lot, and you've really inspired me to get more intimate with my food. So thank you so much for taking time off.
No, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to hearing and to following up as well on anything that we need to do to work together.
Yeah, looking forward to collaborating. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So I'll cut all of the rest now.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you. I want to also, if you do a virtual workshop, let me know. I'd love to attend.
Okay.
And I'm definitely following you on Instagram now, and so I'll keep updating and keep kind of looking at what your amazing stuff that you're up to.
Yes, amazing. You know, we're like in the I was actually, yeah, we're like in the middle of this growth, and of course, like I told you, juggling time and everything, but things still are moving. So it's very exciting. And for sure, I mean, I love to meet more people that are on the same, you know, that we're on the same conversation and helping each other with whatever, you know. Eventually, we would really like to have our workshops with more people, you know, so not only Roots Radicals, but guests. So perhaps we could do something together there, you know, and bring some bear, because I saw that you're also having some classes and some things. So we can also, I don't know, anything that you can think about that it's collaborating, I will be very happy to work.
Likewise. Little tutorials of how to cook at home using stuff around you.
Yeah.
That would be really cool to do, like a workshop sometime in the future.
See. So I had a question about the photos, because I actually, as I said before, no, I took amazing photos yesterday,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get them early or mid next week. Is that
Yeah.
fine? Or
Totally.
okay,
Take your time. That's perfectly fine. I'm
I'll
actually
send you the bio now because I have something already, so it'll take me 10 minutes, and I'll send you mine, and then I'll send you the last one then next week.
perfect because we have actually a couple of episodes for the next 3 weeks. So I think yours is
Okay.
on the fourth week anyway. So
Oh,
third or fourth week. So that's perfect. Yeah, send me photos whenever you get a chance. And yeah, and I'll keep you posted when I upload it, and I'll like tag you on social media and LinkedIn
of
and stuff.
course. Okay, amazing. I'm looking forward and see you every Tuesday in the
Class, I know.
yeah.
How soon?
Hopefully we are both selected and we also meet in
Oh my,
London.
that would be so amazing. I hope so too.
Yes, but in any case, it was a pleasure to meet you digitally, and let's just keep rolling.
Pleasure hearing your story. Pleasure hearing your story.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay. Bye.
have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Ciao.